Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello and happy Thursday. Welcome to fun class here with Michael Stores and Creativity for Kids. My name is Lay Ralston, and I will be your teacher. I will be teaching you how to create some holiday rock painting. I'm super excited because look at this fun kit in front of me. This is the Creativity for Kids Hide and Seek Rock Painting Kit. And because Christmas is just right around the corner, and that's what we're going to do today. So without any further ado, I'm going to open up this box, but I would like to remind you that this class is being recorded. And so if there's anything that you kind of want to watch again, the replay will be available at Michael's YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours will be there. And also we don't have a chat section this time, but we do have a Q&A section. So if there's you have any questions during the class, just put in your question over there and I will definitely try and answer as much as I can. Look at this. So we have our paints over here. Ooh. And then we have all the tools that we need, right? This box is a little heavy because we have our natural rocks in here. Let's open it up. We have 2 bags. Ooh, let me grab it. These are our rocks, okay? And so everything, you can see everything in the back of the box, what's included in the kit. We're gonna go through that and look at them. All right, so let's open up our paint first. We have how many colors? Let's see. How many colors of paints are in here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count that correctly? We have 8 colors too. 8 colors. We have red, black, green, blue, orange, yellow. We have purple, and we also have white. All right. And then now let's open up and see the tools, what's inside. When you're using some scissors, make sure to ask an adult for some supervision. But if you're an adult like me, I'm still trying to be careful when you're using any sharp objects like that, so you have to be mindful. Here are our brushes. We have a fine tip brush and we also have a flat brush. So this is what we have. It's good when to use the flat brush when you're using trying to cover up a bigger area of your rock. So you want to use that flat brush. And then the fine tip, you're going to use that for of course, some details and all that, smaller details. And then we have a little sponge in here. See, so if you want to create different textures or cover a much bigger space, then you can also use this sponge right here. All right. And then we have our handy dandy instruction in here. We're going to read that in just a second. But what else do we have? We have some transfers in here. Look at all these fun designs. Oh, look. So they're mirrored image because it works I'm not sure if you guys played with kind of sticker tattoos. So the images are kind of mirrored. So the words, this is imagine, but when we put that in our rock, it's going to say imagine and we can read it much better. So this says peas and look at all those cute, fun expressions. You can use that definitely when you want to paint some animals, use all these fun faces in there. Then you have some sun, the word love. So if you don't really want to, if you're having a hard time trying to figure out an idea for your next drawing, then these transfers are going to be really handy to do that. You can just paint your rock different type of colors and then use the transfers. Okay, so Mabel is asking, do you teach the other baking class? You know, Mabel, that is something that I don't think Michaels will hire me for because I don't know how to bake. I need to attend those classes. So, yeah, someone from my other class last night, we were doing a painting class, and, you know, I was just sharing with them that I don't know how to bake. So I think I have to attend some of the baking classes for Michaels too. All right, so this one we have this gold foil transfer. This is beautiful. We are definitely going to be using this gold star in here. And we can even use the heart too. I mean, this is a 4-leaf clover, lucky, lucky. So when you're doing, oops, St. Patrick, you know, type of illustration, then that's perfect. And then you have the shiny diamond here. So this is gold. So you have 3 sheets of transfer, 2 sheets with black print, and then a gold foil sheet. So that's fun. All right. And then you have a sticker in here for creativity for kids. Now this one, you're going to use it. You're going to put it underneath your rock so that when you're done painting them and you want to hide it somewhere, you want to put it over here because it has our hashtag that says creativity for kids. And so they're going to know where to find it. You can share your own story where you find where you found your rock or where you're going to hide it. If someone wants to look for it, maybe you live in the same area. And also so you can see some other ideas of other rock paintings as well. All right. Okay. Now down to our rocks. Now, I want to share with you that these are natural stones. These are natural rocks. So it is recommended that before you start painting, you want to wash your rocks first, or you can also use a paper towel like this. You can wet the paper towel and clean it like that. Or you can just use a bowl of water, which is, I have some here. So I want to show you that we're going to clean it because it is natural stone. So there's a little bit of dirt in there and that we want to clean that out before we get started painting. Okay. Oops. Did you teach the decoration of the animals class? I don't think so, Mabel. Maybe that one is Meredith. Okay. So I'm just going to go slowly this time. Put in the rocks. Just like that. We're going to go clean it. And then make sure that wherever you're doing your painting, make sure that you ask mom and dad because painting, it can get a little messy. So you might have some spills and all these. So if you have a big newspaper, do you guys know what a newspaper is? You guys are too young for that. A newspaper or this one, I have this mat because I do a lot of painting. So I know I make a lot of spills and a little bit of mess. So I have this to just protect my table. So if there's anything that you can use to protect the surface of your desk or the table, then that's perfect. Okay. And so here I'm just going to clean and start cleaning my rocks. See, a little bit of dirt is coming out like that because these are natural stones. So we just want to clean it as much as we can. And if you have some towel in there to clean it, can you see that? Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see all the dirt that's coming out from the rock. We want to clean that thoroughly. Camera is like moving around. It's like, what are you doing to me? Like this. And so I have a towel in here that I used earlier. And it already is a little bit dirty. I'm just going to put the rocks in there so we can clean it off. And while you're cleaning your rocks, this is an important stage to kind of look at the shapes. You know, what are the shapes? It will give you some inspirations, kind of like, hey, look at this one. Maybe I can use and create a snowman in here or a Christmas tree because we're doing a holiday theme today. So my mind's kind of like, what can I use in here? Maybe like a star, a moon, you know, things like that. So use that time to get you inspired what you're going to paint. Kind of like gives you an idea and it's a really good start of inspiration. All right, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to dry the rocks as much as I can. So you see all the brown things, that's from the dirt. So you want to clean it like that. I already have some clean rocks over there set aside and they have like different shapes. See, this one is so cool because look at this shape here. looks like a moon already. You can just color it with yellow, cover that up with a face also, create a face, this one. So it's always super fun to look at the shape of your rocks like this. Some of like different colors and all that. But when I do my painting, I really like to cover it up with white first. It's kind of like a base. It's a good base to start with, you know. Unless you don't want it, you just want the natural color of the stone, then that's okay too. You don't have to cover it up with white. So I'm going to set these aside and let it dry. It should dry fast, pretty quickly. Just put that like this. Look at the natural marks from the stones. See all that different textures. Super fun. Clean this one up. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside. And I've actually picked up some of rocks earlier. And I have some cool shapes in here that I really want to use. Now, after I have all this dirt, I'm just going to dip this towel in here so I can clean up my surface. I like to work on a clean surface. It kind of like helps me focus, because when it's a little dirty, I can't focus very much. So it's kind of like I clean as I go. All right. So let me pick some fun shapes in here. Because look at this one. I can already see painting a Christmas tree in here. So I think I'm going to choose this one. This one looks like a snowman too. We can put the head in here so we can cut it in half. I mean, we're not going to cut the stone, but just our painting. And then this one, like a larger one maybe. We can make this just a head of a snowman. That's going to be cool also. And I'm going to show you some fun tricks using the back of your brushes, because it's going to help us create some perfect circle, a dotting tool. So these are going to be our dotting tool if you want to create like the eyes, most especially. Sometimes it's hard to use the brush tip on that one. All right, I also have a clean bowl of water when you need to wash and clean your brush when you change in colors. I also love to use baby wipes as well, because sometimes it's much faster to clean it that way, but the paper towels are also recommended. So it's much easier to clean as you go along. All right, so here, this is our paints. These are special paints that are really made for the rocks. It's kind of like acrylic paint, but really there's something special in here that's going to make the painting in your rocks settle much better. And also when you're going to put it outside, when you're hiding it somewhere, then of course, you know, natural things are going to happen. It's going to rain, the heat from the sun. So these are special type of paints that's going to seal and settle in your rocks very nicely. The paints are not just going to damage real quick, because, you know, you spent a lot of time painting and then it's just going to get damaged. Then, you know, that's a little sad. Okay, so I'll set aside some of the rocks in here and we'll start painting. Now I'll grab the white first and I'll grab my flat brush, because this one will help me cover up as much space as I can. And then I'll just hold my rock like this and I'll start painting. This one is just kind of like a primer to cover up the front and have a good base. So the colors that I will choose will really pop. Like that. And I'll move on to the next one and I'll just start painting it. If you guys have like looking at the shape of the rocks in here and you have any ideas that are holiday related, let me know. I feel like I can make this into a reindeer as well. This is, we can put a big nose, a big red nose for Rudolph in there. Can you name all Santa's reindeer? I think I memorized that when I was younger. I don't think I know all of them now. And look at this fun shape right here. Yes, a gnome. That's a great idea, Andrew. Definitely. we're going to make some gnome. Look at this one. I feel like this is going to be the perfect gnome. So we're going to set this one aside because see how pointy this one is? I think that's a great, wonderful idea. So we cover that up. And this one, I really wanted it to be the session today. I wanted to be as natural as possible. So I really didn't practice or I really didn't think about anything that I wanted because I wanted to do it with you so you can help me out with some great ideas too. Look at this shape right here. This is pretty fun. Like I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in here. We can make some special presents, gifts, you know, peppermints, candy canes, Christmas tree, of course, for sure. We can make like ornaments. So we're going to let our imagination run wild because I think that's the fun part. You know, you have to kind of like slow down and really just enjoy the process because, you know, when you guys get older, like me, life goes much, much faster. And it's fun to be a child, to be a kid, because you want to enjoy that as much as possible. You want to create and really have fun, embrace it while you're young. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to slow down. We're just going to play and we're going to create together. So we have all these rocks painted. We might not be able to finish all the rocks, but I think this is a good starting point. We have these 4 or 5, don't know how to count, 5 rocks in there. So that's great. I'm just going to pull some. Okay. Ooh, stockings. I like that. Yes, for sure. And then we can decorate them. I have a fan blowing, so it keeps going all over the place. Okay, so we want to let it sit for just a little bit. It just takes a couple of minutes for it to dry. They dry really fast. While it's drying, let's go look at our handy dandy instruction in here. And also in the back, it shows you different kits that we offer with Creativity for Kids that you can buy from Michael's also. All right, so it says here, make sure to cover your work surface with newspaper. Have a cup of water and paper towels handy. We got that covered. Wear a smock or old clothes. I think this is pretty old. This is my work clothes. This paint may stain fabrics. Okay, so that's really important to know. Furniture and other surfaces. That's why it's really important to cover up your painting area. So clean up any spills immediately while the paint is still wet. Paint can settle and separate over time. So mix each color thoroughly before you begin painting. And we're going to see that later. There's a little bit of liquidy thing. So you want to make sure that we stir that first to make sure that it's thick and it's ready for us to use. Before changing colors, make sure to rinse and dry your brush thoroughly. Okay. And then we got this covered. The getting started is it's letting us know that we need to rinse and dry the rocks first. And if you need a pair of scissors or a cup of water to complete this activity. Also, if you want to use a pencil first to kind of like sketch out your idea, it's always, always helpful because, you know, even as an adult, and I'm doing this every day, I really try to sketch my ideas first. All right. So how do I paint the backside? Well, you let it dry first. If you really want to cover your whole rock, then you want to make sure that this first part is dry and then you flip it and then you paint the back. Okay. Jen is giving us some idea. How about a penguin? I love that idea. We're definitely going to do that. Okay. So, maybe we should do this as a penguin. Look at this shape. Isn't that like a penguin? And this one, we can use this as a gnome. I think it's perfect. Where do we put our Christmas tree, guys? Put our Christmas tree there, maybe here. We'll figure it out, either this one or this one, because I want some Christmas stockings also. So we can do that, okay? So that's a good idea. Now we have the ideas. All right, so make sure that when you get this kit, you read everything in here. It's explaining how to use the transfers. So all the instructions are in here. And then make sure to really ask your parents first if you want to do the hiding your rocks. Okay. So that's a fun part to do with your parents because it's a great bonding time with them. Also, are we ready? What do we start? Let's start with the penguin. I think it's going to be good. This one's dry already. So it dries really fast, but just make sure to kind of like tap it, dab it, make sure it's not sticky. That means it's dry already. So our penguin, we're going to use the blue color and the yellow. All right. Set aside my rocks in here. And then would you like me to zoom in the camera a bit more? Maybe we do that just so you can really see all the details. All right, here we go. I think this is a perfect penguin. All right. Oh, gee. Okay. Here we go. So when I draw penguin, I love kawaii style of drawings. I really love them because it's simple, it's easy, and it's super duper cute. Okay, so I'm going to make the shape. I want my penguin to have a little bit of like maybe red earmuffs because, even though they like the cold, but I think it's going to be cuter if we have it here. I just know I'm marking it, even though you can't probably see it because of my pencil. And then I'm going to have it here where, part of its belly is going to be white. So we're going to cover most of this rock in blue one. I'll have it, except for the belly part. I want the belly part to be white. So we're going to leave a part right here that's going to be white. After we paint it blue, we can also paint the red on both sides for the earmuffs, all right? And then let me just choose to make sure that this is stirred. So you can see a little bit of that liquidy thing. So make sure to stir it up like that. Make sure it's ready like this. And you don't want to waste the paint. So you want to put that back in your container. All right. And then I'm going to grab my paper towel to just clean it, just like that. Okay. Are we ready to paint? Okay. When you're painting, you want to make sure to just have enough in your brush because you can always add. It's much harder to take out, okay? So I'm going to start in here where I know the round parts. So all I'm going to do is swoop over like that and go around my rock like this to leave a white area here. So I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to go bring up my brush like this, like that. Yes, absolutely. It can be any rock because this one is a natural rock too. But you just want to make sure to clean your rock like we did earlier. And you want to choose something that has a smooth surface because probably it will be much better to paint that. But if you can't find one, I think it will be okay too. I'm going to cover here at the bottom. So you can see here, I'll have this and just cover a little bit like that. Because we're going to add some yellow in there later for the feet. I'm going to cover the rest. So there's like some cracks in there. I'm just going to cover it up. Just like this. And get ready to make a little bit of a mess because paints can be messy, but as long as you just kind of like wash your hands later. And these paints are non-toxic also, but you're not supposed to put that in your mouth and all that. So be careful when you're working with any paint medium. Okay, so there's a little bit of white exposed in there. And then if you feel like it's not covered enough and you want more paint in there, you want to make sure to just kind of like let it dry for just a little bit. And then you can add another layer. All right. It's all covered. And we're done. We have a penguin. Hold on. I'm just going to let that one dry for just a second. What I want to do is hold on there. So again, they said if you're going to use the same brush, You want to make sure to clean it. That's why I have a bowl of water in here, like that. So we can clean it and then use the paper towel to take out any excess water, all right? So that you don't water down your paint when you're ready to color in the next color, all right? I'll set that one aside. Now, see, this one is still a little bit wet, and I don't want to put in the red if it's still wet. So I'm just going to let that dry just a little bit while we're thinking of our other. I feel like this one also, remember for our gnome, it's going to have like I wanted to have a big nose. And then part of this is going to be the very long facial hair, his mustache. And so what we want to do is we want to start with the nose. And I want the nose to be red. So I want to do that. I'm going to open up my red. And I'm going to do the same thing like what we did with the blue. Make sure that there's not liquidy. It's thick. Like this, I'm just going to stir it. Make sure it's perfect. And maybe you can do this also in the very beginning, before you start your painting, so you can stir every color in there. I'm just going to clean that brush or the tip of that brush. And I'm going to use the black. So I'm going to do the same thing with the black. So stir it like that. This is a little hard. I don't know how much paint is left because they're both black. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'll repeat the same. Make sure to really clean it, especially the black one. So you don't want to dip that in the same green and you didn't really clean your brush thoroughly. Because you don't want to mix this with black. It's going to be darker. Like that. Okay. Just cleaning the brush. I'll do that with the yellow. There. Stir, stir, stir. And do this. And clean my brush. Okay. I think we're good with that one. That aside. Is this dry? It's already dry. So I think we can start working on our penguin. All right. So now for the feet, I want yellow also, but because I'm holding my rock over here, I know that I want to start on the top first, so that will dry. Okay, I'm going to start with the red. Move the water. Move this paint right here. And the red is going to be the earmuffs. So I'll start here on the left. And see how I'm just dabbing the paint like this? It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. So you just have to really have fun here. So I'm just doing that. It's going to look like an earmuffs later because we're going to use the black to create the head part, right? The one that goes over the head. And then we're going to make that black. See, I'm just dabbing and dabbing and dabbing. Just like that. And then I want to make a scarf over here. And I want to make it red also. So I'm going to paint from this side to this side. All right. So I'm just going to do this. Just like that. Now we can also decorate the scarf, maybe add like white stripes if we want to, or green stripes. I think green's gonna be fun. It's really Christmassy. You guys really did a great job with this idea of the penguin. I love it. Just like that. And then we're gonna draw red one over here. It's a dangling piece of the scarf. So do that. See? We want to make it where it's wider at the bottom. So this one is just narrow and thin. It goes just a little bit wider. So we add just an extra width. See? Just like that. It's so perfect already. I'm going to clean my brush, let that dry just a little bit while I'm cleaning my brush. This. And you know, I feel like an hour is not enough to really paint all of these. I wish like we have more time, but I'm just going to go a little fast so that we can really finish a lot of projects today. What kind of the rocks for the projects? These are natural rocks. So as you can see, this is what we used, you know, different types of rocks. So if you go out with your parents, maybe be careful and look around for some rocks, but really in this kit of the Creativity for Kids, you already have the rocks, you have the paint, you have everything, and it's super fun. It makes it so easy. All right, so I'm going to use the black to create the band that goes over the head. And so I'm just going to start on the left side over here. And I'm going to go slowly. If you don't want to make a mess, you always can do like short strokes like this. Instead of like creating like one big long stroke, you just want to do a little bit at a time, you know, until you finish the whole shape that you want to create. So see how I'm doing? Just a little bit at a time. There we go. And if you feel like you can clean it up a little bit more, I feel like I have a thick paint in here there. And then look what I did. I touched it. And then just clean it up and connect it. Ah, so cute. Clean my hands before I transfer that black in his body. Now for the eyes of the penguin, this is where I feel like sometimes using the brush is a little tricky. So I like to use the end of the brush as a dotting tool. So I'm just going to clean this one real quick. Right. And I want to use the end of that brush, and I'll just dip it in the black just a little bit, not too much. You don't want too much paint. And so here, I want to draw an eye, and I'll just dab this one. Look how perfect that circle is. Perfect. And I'll do the same thing. Dab it in there. Ooh, I feel like this one I have a little bit more extra paint, but okay, I'll just be gentle when dabbing. This one. It's hard to look at the camera because I can't see it. So sometimes I'm like, okay. I think I did it. What do you guys think? I think I did. There. Now for the nose, I want to use the yellow. So I'm going to clean this before I make any mess. See, that's why it's so important to have like a paper towel, because you want to clean as you go along, unless you have like many different brushes that you can use, but I don't. Right. So this time I'm going to use the fine tip brush, and I'm going to grab some yellow paint, just a little bit. And I'm going to create a triangle shape, but going down. So what do you call these shape? So instead of like the point is up, the point is going to be down. So you want to start with, this is kind of a little tricky because it's so tiny. So we want to start with just one line, okay, in between the eyes. So just dab, just like that. So look, now I'm looking at it. It looks so closer to the right eye. I have to go do this and just fix it just a little bit. So if you cannot create that triangle shape, upside down triangle, it's okay. You can just create like an oval shape. That's going to work great too. But look at this. It's so cute. It's kind of like a Superman logo too. There. It's so cute. I love it. And I'll do the same while my brush is still yellow. I'm creating more yellow, and we're going to create the feet. So we're just going to create these two oval in here. See the two oval shapes? And this will represent the feet of our penguin. draw this one over here. Now, the reason why I wanted the blue to dry first, because if we didn't let that dry and we add yellow, we're going to create what color? We're going to create green in there. And unless that's what you want, then it's okay. But in this project, I don't want to create a green, and I just really want the yellow to stand out against that blue. And so we wait in between to create that. Look how adorable that is. And so I'm going to clean my brush because I think I want to add some green to the scarf. We can use the back and create some like little tiny polka dots like this. See, look at that. Look how adorable that is. Look. So I'm gonna I'm having space in between. Up, down. Now it depends on how much paint you put in there and how much pressure. See the difference of the very tiny dots and the larger? It's because I really am using a very, very, very light pressure to create that small, tiny dot. See the difference? And now I'm gonna apply pressure so you can see how much difference. Because you're applying more pressure, and so you're getting more of the paint in there. So the more you do this, the more you really understand different types of pressure to use, how much paint to pick up, you know, but with practice, you can do everything. Look at this. Look at our adorable penguin. You guys need to name the penguin, okay? So I'm going to set that one aside and let that dry. And we're going to move on with our next one. So is this going to be our gnome in here? All right, I think so too. Now, part of this one, look at the shape, all right? So of course the gnomes, they're known for their big pointy hats, right? And we want that red. I want that red, definitely want it red. And so we want to have an imaginary line if you don't have a pencil in here. So this part right here is an imaginary line, right? This part right here is all going to be red. And over here, now if that's red, the hat, we can't use red for the nose. So, you know, what we can do is we can make the hat green and then make the nose red and let over here, this part right here, this is going to be part of the facial hair or the mustache of our gnome, okay? So we're going to start with the imaginary line, change of plans. We're going to use green, okay? So since we're going to cover a larger space, I'm going to use our flat brush. I'm going to dip this one because we already stirred the green. We made sure that it's all ready for us to paint. I'm going to start with the imaginary line, kind of like what we did with the penguin. So I'll start right here. Cover it up like that, right? And then we're going to do all of this. All of that. Yes, we're definitely going to get that and apply part of this, the star. Remember that star gold foil that we have, the transfer? We're going to use that. Maybe we can use that to decorate the hat of the gnome. Wouldn't that be great? Just going to cover this part right here, just like that. Icebird. Wow. Icebird. Okay, so we have one name, Icebird. So if you have any other suggestions that we can use for the penguin, I like Icebird too. It's super cute. Okay, I'm going to let this one, I'm going to clean up my brush and then dab it. And I think it will be easier to use the finer tip for the nose. I'm going to grate the red one over here in the middle, right? So use my finer tip, and I'm just going to create an oval shape. We want the oval shape to be a little bigger. It's already super cute. So I'm trying to avoid the green part because I don't really want to mix them so much. I just want the red to really pop like this. And the more I keep doing that, it gets bigger and bigger, the nose. Trying to be careful with that. Do you guys think we should use the star, the gold star in here? I think that's a good one. And I think, yeah, let's see if it's going to fit. It might fit, guys. We'll see. We might be able to do that. And then for this one, since the white part is already in there, I just want to add a little bit of strokes of more white. Okay, so it'll just really stand out. And right now I'm just cleaning my brush on the side. Make sure that there's no more red. I am dabbing the excess water in the paper towel. And I'm going to open my white again. And I'm going to be careful with how much paint I put in the brush, because we're going to use the tip of the brush to really create some fine strokes in here, kind of like this, okay? So I'm going to use just the tip of the brush, and I'm going to start adding some strokes in here. We're going to use a little tiny, a black one later to create a tiny mouth in there. So I'm just going to concentrate here and add some white strokes to really add details for the hair, like this. This is so fun. Just like that. We have more here. Bottom part. It's so cute. The gnome needs a name too. Is he our gnomey? Okay, that's a little cheesy. Now I'm going to use the backside again to create a tiny mouth for a gnome. And I think I want to add the star in here, but I'm going to let this one dry first before we add that, okay? So I'm just dipping the very tip of the back of the very end. Oops, I think I grabbed too much paint. I want to start over because it's a little hard because this is black. So I don't know how much paint I'm getting. So I'm just going to be very light. And I want the mouth to kind of like go sideways. Just like that, like, Okay, so I think it's dry, but I'm gonna want to give it just a couple of seconds. Now for this part right here of the hat, do we want to decorate it? Do we want to add like maybe a black line in there to add some details? I'll leave that to that for now. Let's do a Christmas tree. And I think I want this one to be a Christmas tree because look at the shape right here, like that, right? We have a pointy top and then we have that. So I think this one is perfect. Although it's a little lopsided, it's okay. We're going to use our imagination. We have all the tree in here in this part right here. So I'm going to grab again the flat brush. And this one, you want to make sure that you use your imagination with the tree. How can you, like, maybe we can add like 3 different ones and it's a different type of tree, not the one that we always see with, you know, some, the tree itself, it has like different layers of green. I think this one, I want to use like very simple shapes, like triangles. So I'm going to do that. So instead of one big tree, change of plans again, see what I'm doing here, going along and just using my imagination. Sometimes you see one thing in your head, and then while you're looking at this canvas or this rock, because this is our canvas for today, I feel like my imagination is like telling me, no, don't make just one tree, make different trees. And I'm like, you know what? Sure. So we're going to make 2 trees in here. But instead of just a regular Christmas tree, I'm going to make one triangle for the tree. And we're going to make one circle here. And it looks like a folk tree. So it's going to look very different from your regular Christmas tree. Okay. So we're going to create a triangle for the tree, our first one. There. Like that. This one, I really want to make sure I have a pointy tip so we can accentuate that it is a triangle and it is a tree indeed. So I'm using it sideways to create that very pointy top like this, and then do it on the other side also like that. Okay, that is one tree. I'm going to create another one beside it. Now you can blend colors in here. So if you want maybe a deeper, a different type of green, you can try and blend a little bit, maybe add a little bit of blue. But when you do that, you want to make sure that you do it, don't mix your paint right in this pan unless you just want that color and you don't want this color anymore. If you have any plastic, paper plates and all that, you can do your mixing and blending in that one. So just to make sure that you don't blend it right in this pan, or else you're going to lose that. I'm going to let this one dry. I have a heat tool in here because I am an adult. Now, if you don't have this, you don't want to do it because it gets hot. So just be patient and really let it dry. But because time is limited and I really want to finish at least 3 rock painting today, I'm being impatient right now and just drying it with my heat tool. But with you, just give it some time and just let it dry. Okay. I'm going to grab my red. And I think I'm going to have the red in here. It's kind of like overlapping. Okay, so we're going to overlap our trees. This looks like a giant peppermint also. So that's what we can do, like a giant peppermint tree. That'd be fun. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Clean my brush. And I'm going to make another green one onto the side. And they're going to be different height also. This one is much taller. This one is over here. Like that. I don't want to blend it with the red, so I'm just being a little careful. Like that. Just like that. And then I am going to paint a little bit of the black. And I think I'm going to use my fine tip brush to have all of these right here. Oops, I was going to dip it in the red. My goodness. Right, that one. All right. I'm going to clean my brush. And later, I want to cover all of these with more white so it looks like I have some snow. And I'm going to let this one dry first. And we're going to add white in the peppermint. And I'm going to add some red to decorate the tree. And so we're going to use the back or the tip, the end of the brush to create some perfect circles like this. And we're going to skip the red, this circle right here, because that's going to be a giant peppermint tree. Okay. Add a little bit there. Remember what we talked about, this tiny, having a very light pressure, to be very careful also to create like the smaller dots like that. Here, I'm going to add one to the other tree, grabbing more paint. Oops, I think I grabbed too much. Be careful not to pick up too much of the paint. Just be gentle when dipping and also when dotting, like this. Like that. And I'm going to let it dry because I can see that the red is still very, very wet. Now we'll finish our gnome. This one we're going to use our transfer. I really hope that it's going to fit right on top. I think it's dry enough, like that. So I'll set aside our paints right here. And then I'm going to use my scissor to go around my star. Cut around that and just pick up this, just a star. Okay, like this. I'll set this one aside. Now there's a plastic sheet in here and you want to make sure that you take that. Look, I peeled a part of my star. So you want to peel this plastic first, like that. Part of the star was ruined. Okay. Now remember the sponge right here? Remember I said you can use it for painting and all that, but this is what you're going to need also to apply water on the back of the star. Now you can see, I can see a little bit of silhouette of the star. See, I can see that just a little bit. I'm not sure if you can, but this will help me, guide me to where I want the position of my star also. So I want to make sure I position it correctly, covering it up, not cover the nose. Like this. I think it's good. I'll put in just a slight amount of pressure in there, make sure it's sealed. Now this punch right here, I'm going to get some water and then pinch it to get the excess water out. You don't want too much, just enough because we want to add some water here in our transfer. Now you see, I feel like I need more, so you can just add as you go along. That and make sure you cover the whole part where the star is. As you can see, the star is now showing up, right? A little bit. So we want to do that. I want to make it wet. Just like that. And this might, you know, take a little bit of practice. Maybe the first time is not perfect, but you have how many more transfers? So since you have only 4 gold transfers, you maybe want to try with just a small other image, maybe a heart and all that. Just practice with that first. And I really hope that I did this correctly. Are we ready for the big reveal? Da, da, da. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. I feel like I ruined just the other end, but it's okay. We're gonna get it. Ah, it's so pretty. Now I want to do exactly what we did with the red. You know how we made the dots, but this time I want white. So I want white around my hat. So again, I'm gonna use the other tip of this. And I'm just going to go paint around some dots in here. If you want to do stripes instead, maybe that's good also. I feel like the dotting, something about this dotting is really just so relaxing to me. Kind of like creating polka dots, like this one, this right here, like that. This gold, look at this. That is so shiny. So fun. It's like really, it's like Christmas when you see gold foils like that. It's perfect too. It's a star. Oops. I was going to dip in there, the other side. It's close. I think this one's perfect. And you know what? I'm going to add just a little bit of white and add a little bit of highlight here in his nose. Just like that. Oh my goodness. It's so cute. I love it. Here's Mr. What's the name? Icebird for a penguin. Oh my gosh. All right. So this time, last but not the least, is I just want to create a snow here. But before that, I really want to take care of the peppermint first. It's our big peppermint tree. So I'm going to use the fine tip, grab some white, right? And then we're going to create our peppermint from the middle part of the circle. I go around it and create like a curving line. See, and then I'll cover that part. And then again, as I'm doing this, I'm kind of like twisting the rock around. So it's much easier to paint them. Okay, grab more paint, and from the same spot in the middle, we're gonna leave a part where there's red. So we wanna go alternate from white, red, white, red. So here, start in the middle, I'll go around again and create a curving line to cover up and add some white. Just like that. And then I'm twisting my rock again. Look at this. And then from the same spot, I'm going to create another white part and cover it up. So you kind of have like this big peppermint tree. If you feel like you need more saturation, more opacity, that means more paint. So you want to just add a little bit more paint, or like what I said earlier, you want to leave it and let it dry for a little bit before you add another layer in there. Just like that. So perfect. I want to use a little bit of yellow to create some stars on the top of my tree, especially this one. It has a different height. So I'm going to go up kind of like this to create my star. And just like that. Then I think I'm going to grab some white and put it over here, a lot of it. So I want to use my flat brush and just really cover this part right here with some white. Make sure that there's really a lot of snow in there for winter time. And if that's the scene that you want, you're going to want to make sure that you grab this one also and create just a little bit of white, you know, so it looks like a snow scene. So you have white, add more white in there, maybe some on the tree too, just to kind of look like there's some snow everywhere. That. I'm trying to avoid the yellow part because that's still wet and I don't want to blend it, but creating all of these to create our beautiful winter snowy scene. There we go. That's our perfect holiday painting today. I hope that this really helped you and gave you some ideas of what to do in your next rock painting. Again, this kit is available at Michael's, among many other ones. So make sure to check out Creativity for Kids. Let me grab the box again. This is what we use today. So it's the hide and seek. And as you see, there's nothing holiday in here, but we used our imagination to create all these beautiful paintings today. We created this beautiful penguin, I think icebird, and our Nomi is here. And then we have a gold foil. We use the transfer in here. We learned how to use that. And then here we created a beautiful winter scene with some Christmas trees. I hope that you really had fun. Again, my name is Leigh Ralston. We want to thank all of you for joining us today. And if there's any part in here that you missed and you want to go watch again, the replay will be available over at Michael's YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours. I wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Be good. Stay creative and always stay happy. Thank you, everybody. Bye.